Hello, good afternoon, sir.
Good
It's
afternoon,
great
Bro
to
Toluwani.
have you with us.
Thank you very much. I'm
Yes,
honored
well,
to be here.
as you know already, it's our anniversary period at TOCC.
Yeah.
For us, it is 9 years of
Mhm.
impact,
Yeah.
and we're very glad that you're part of that story. So,
Thank you
just
very
want to
much.
interview you to get your TOCC testimony.
All
How has
right.
TOCC been for you? But before that, can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, so my name is Toluwani Daniel, and I currently serve as media team lead in TOCC.
Wonderful.
And yes, I've been in TOCC for the past. Oh, I should leave this part. I think I should leave this part
No,
later.
continue.
Actually, hope I should go on. I think I've been in
Continue.
TOCC for the past 6 years. Yeah,
6 out of 9.
I've been in TOCC for the past 6 years.
6 out of 9 is
And
that's for more than half.
yeah,
That's for more than half. Wow. You're an elder.
is it?
Yeah, 6 is definitely more than half. You're an
Okay.
elder. So tell us, how did you join TSCC?
Okay, so my story of how I joined COCC, I remember vividly. I was in a former apartment in 2019, and Apostle happened to come to that apartment, and I remember that it was a Sunday in the evening. That is Sunday or Saturday. I was doing the dishes and I was singing out loud because I was wearing headsets. And Apostle came to look for the person that was singing, and we got talking from there. And Apostle happened to be in that area. As a matter of fact, in that apartment for a while before he moved out. And for that period when he was there, I interacted. I had the opportunity to interact with Apostle on a daily basis, asking
Wow.
questions. That was first because he reached out, and I still say to today, I don't know how the conversation got to Bible, how we started talking about Jesus. I don't know how we got there, but I guess that was Apostle doing his thing.
Yeah.
And yes, I had the opportunity to ask questions, and there were periods where I was going on prayer walks for several nights with Apostle from around 11 p.m. around the midnight period, basically for about 1 hour every day. And during all this period, I've not joined CCC again.
Wow.
I was still going to another church, and although I was starting to ask questions with the things I was learning from Apostle, and also the things I was also hearing at the church where I was going. So I was asking questions at the church where I was going, and I was getting the answers that they had to supply me, and I was checking it against what I was learning from Apostle, and I could see clearly that okay, this answer is actually better. This one is more in line with what the Bible says. Looking at the Bible for myself too, what Apostle is showing me is actually the better answer. But yet, I still did not join it because then I was about to be the main drummer of that church.
Wow.
TOCC did not have any instrumentals at then. But thank God we have musical instruments now. We have instrumentalists. So that was what kept me in that church at that time. And it was early 2020 before we resumed school. Early 20, was it early 2020? I really cannot remember right now. I think 2020 was COVID period. Was it COVID end? Was it ending? I was at the beginning. Yes, it was at the beginning. I was contemplating in the house when I went home for the holiday that okay, it's high time I think I need to join TOCC. I can remember that day I was in the room, I was thinking, I was picturing and imagining things. I just knew that I had to come and join. I had to come and join because yeah, the teaching is sound, there's opportunity to grow, and I was already relating with Apostle on a more personal level. So while I was in a church somewhere, I was more closer to somebody outside because Apostle. So all of all that led me to joining TOCC. So I settled into TOCC in 2020. In 2020, having met the Apostle for several months in 2020, in 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
That's such a testimony. That was 6 years, 2020 till now is 6 years. And well, I do know you a bit, so I know it has been a very, very beautiful and wonderful 6 years. But yeah, from your testimony, you emphasize that one of the things or some of the things that led you to stay where number one, you had a personal relationship with Apostle.
Yes.
Yes, and you could see from what he was teaching you that there was an excellent accuracy in God's word,
Yes.
in what he
Sure.
was teaching to you.
Sure.
So I want to ask you, having had this personal experience with Apostle, I mean at close range, beyond pulpit level, even before joining TOCC, how has this relationship and Apostle's teachings, how have they influenced your spiritual growth so far?
Okay, so looking back at that time up until now, what I would say is this: how it has influenced my spiritual growth. Apostle will teach us that spiritual growth is in three major aspects: in character, which is love, in knowledge, and also in the charismatic. I think there's one more. I've forgotten that one. Please remind me that
Block of
one.
ministry.
Yes, thank you. But the three core aspects that Apostle first introduced us to was those three I mentioned initially. And for me, the one aspect of the two aspects actually of my spiritual growth that I could say that my relationship with Apostle was helping me with strongly was the aspect of character and the aspect of knowledge. I'll say character first before knowledge, because many of the things Apostle taught, um, yes, I was understanding them, they were making sense to me, and they were, I cannot really say they really translated. I could not really say, looking back, I can't really say those things I was hearing was translating to better character. It was just forming knowledge in my head. So where the character aspect came from was me watching Apostle, was me having conversations with Apostle about different aspects of life, was me seeing Apostle do things in his space, in his world, in his interaction with people. So I could learn something from church, but not translate it to practical. But on seeing Apostle do one or two things, live life, interact with somebody, make decisions, I observe and ask questions. Wonder why this person do this? Why did Apostle do this? Why will Apostle talk like this? Are you not supposed to attack the situation in this particular way and all that?
Wonderful.
But in observing him outside pulpits, in the relationship with him outside pulpits and all the conversations, I it will be him pointing me back to knowledge, that these things I'm doing, this is the reason why. These things that you're learning, this thing that you learned, this is the application of it. This thing that you learned, this is the application of it. So that personal relationship with Apostle really helped me to solidify what I was learning, to create a bridge between what I was learning and how I could live my life. So yes, I would say that was one thing that they, even to today, a lot of times I still uh, I, s- I see now. Let me put it like this. Now I can bring knowledge to practical way better, way better. But even sometimes I see Apostle do something and immediately I can link it back to myself to, oh, this is this is
Why?
it. This is why we do this. Sometimes our Apostle will say something or me something and I wonder, what's the reason? And some teachings will flow through my head. I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. This is why. Yeah.
That's a very wonderful testimony. So, from your testimony, what I actually can deduce, and for anyone listening, something that they should be able to deduce to is Apostle didn't just teach you, he was a godly example for you.
Yeah.
How that his teachings were things that he practiced.
Yes. Yes.
In that sense, so you could look at his teachings and link it to his lifestyle
Sure.
and say that, okay, this is what he means. For example, when he says live holy, because you could see that holiness in him. And the apostle is a very exemplary leader and Christian. Actually, something that I too know. I haven't gotten the privilege to be close to him. But yeah, like you rightfully said, spiritual growth has many fruits, and one of those fruits is the capacity to do ministry. And we're not going to obviously leave without talking about that. So, share with me how Apostles' teachings, Apostles' lifestyle, and your personal relationship with Apostle, how has it influenced your life in ministry?
Uh, that's a very beautiful question. Very beautiful question. So, because of my relationship with Apostle, like I said before, I see Apostle's interaction with people on a day-to-day basis, and I, in the former apartment where we were living, the one where Apostle met me, so former apartment. I'm there to say that someone will think that just apartment before now. But in the former apartment, one of the things that I see from time to time is the way Apostle interacts with people is in a way such that they carry him with honor. They they honor him because of he makes himself one who is bringing the love of Christ to them. So in his interaction with them, somebody could be down with maybe a sickness. Apostle's response to the person will not be, sorry, yeah, have you used drug? It will first be a position of from a place of spirit and realization that I have the gift of healing to offer you. I can pray for you, you now. That kind of response, or oh, in Jesus' name, you are healed, you are strong. Anything that's faulty in your body is restored. So it's really there's that strong consciousness of him being a minister of the gospel everywhere, in every situation, every conversation. I see Apostle have it could be when everybody is outside, people are trying to get water to their rooms. In the short while Apostle interacts with whoever it is he has opportunity to interact with, it will be conversation that will in one way or the other lead back to the Bible, lead back to the things of the scripture, lead back to the person of Jesus Christ. I used to see all of all these interactions and I internalize it and just nod my head. I know that sometimes when we go out on evangelism, not even evangelism, sometimes when we're out, maybe probably walking on the street, Apostle will greet somebody, oh, how you doing? He shakes hand with the person, they get talking. The conversation always just keeps
In
coming back to
Jesus
Christ,
Christ. That's
coming back to Christ. Always about trying to get the other person enlightened, getting the other person to know Jesus Christ. Even last year, last year 2025, Apostle, um, we entered a public vehicle, and there was a guy beside Apostle. Apostle was interacting with the person. The person was even traveling out of Ondo State, living on those states. Apostle was interacting with the person, getting to know the person, teaching the person about Jesus, trying to strengthen the person's dedication, encouraging the person to be much more dedicated. This new year is getting into, you should ensure that he prioritizes God much more in his life. I can point to many scenarios like that where Apostle would interact with people and bring them back to Christ. That's one. Another is expression of love to people. You see Apostle, Apostle will say to brothers, "Oh, I love you." They me I'm like, what's this one? It feels so weird. It was so weird telling a brother, "Oh, I love you." That sounded somewhere in my head the first few times I will see Apostle say it, but over time, I didn't think there was anything weird. I didn't think there was any. I knew what he meant when he said, "I love, oh, I love you." I know what he meant. It's just a weird thing for me to want to say because I don't think I have a heart that I want to love people like that and all that. So, but yes, I saw Apostle in that capacity. Um, see the people around him, he would hug them, he would shake them, he would tell them how much he values them and all that. And guys and ladies, both guys and ladies, we express that godly love and care towards them. But it's all of all these things. I've mentioned the part of the supernatural, right?
Yes, you have.
Yes. Then I've mentioned the part of him every conversation bringing back to Jesus Christ and edifying somebody about the truth. Then also the show of love and care for people. When people are sick, Apostle will go out of his way. I cannot say all of this without talking about the fact that many times I go to Apostle's house. Many times I go to Apostle's house. That's after he left where he met me. I'll go to Apostle's house, I'll eat Apostle's food. Apostle will give me spiritual food, and will give me physical food a lot of times. A lot of times. I remember one day where um, Apostle had to tell me that I think that happened for a while before Apostle had to call my attention to it. For me, I will come, I'll eat, I'll leave plate, I'll leave plate, I'll not bother to wash it and all of that. But it happened a few times. That kind of thing, somebody else will have taken offense, and somebody will have taken offense. But no, Apostle did not take offense, but he was able to correct when he needed to. And when he did it, it was not out of strife, it was out of love. That you should know, come on, you should know, how to serve. So it was a lesson on service and a lesson of on honor too at the same time. Not out of you're using my food to eat, I'm even teaching you, I'm giving you food, you cannot even wash plates. It was not out of that. It was a lesson on service and it was a lesson on honor. How that anywhere you find yourself, you should be able to serve. This is somebody that has just supplied you not just as spiritual, but also their material food and all that. So you should be able to, in response to that, it's just a cultural thing to do, it's just a normal thing to do and all that. Because I was a Yoruba boy, which was more surprising to him. As a Yoruba boy, it's something that should come
That
naturally.
should be more respectful.
Exactly. Bro.
That's such a very wonderful testimony. Now, let me just ask you this: throughout all those times, where Apostle was, laboring over you, when you were following him, seeing his examples of seeing him walk in love, seeing him preach to people, seeing him lay his hands on the sick, seeing him pray for the sick, go on hospital visits and do all that, and you were with him. Were there points where Apostle actively looked at you and to tell you you will do the same thing? Or this thing I'm doing, know that you are going to do it to others. So I'm very sure the points Apostle did tell you that.
Yeah, I've also said this.
All right.
The Apostle has said it. I can't say, but if you ask me, I will say Apostle has said it to me more than I said it to another person.
Because I know it's something Apostle does.
Apostle says it to me a lot when he's preaching out of pulpit and all of that, especially because yes, Apostle will say that
you are quite close to him.
Apostle will say that I'm one person that I stress him the most in the aspect of, especially in the aspect of in the charismatic and all of that. So yes, I've been one person I've been the closest to Apostle. So Apostle about to deal with a lot of stress in discipling me, or about let's say I put Apostle through some stress in discipling me and all that. Things that he will teach, but we say I have to teach again and teach again. Apostle will say this thing, everything that I'm giving to you, you are going to do for others. So he says it a lot.
That's something I too can give a testimony that Apostle has said to me time and time again. And now I want to, in the line of that, ask you, how has that consciousness of these things I'm doing to you, this label I'm putting over you, you'll actually put the same on others, and then coupled with his teachings, his instructions, his corrections, how have all these things put together led you to be a more mature, more responsible Christian in actually doing the work of the ministry? How has it pushed you personally to do the work of the ministry?
Okay, so I used to see Apostle a lot go out of his way for other people sacrifice his time, his resources, um, for other people, going out to visit people, going out to check up on them, and when he's going out to visit or check up, he doesn't go inside and he carries gifts and all that. So all of us seeing all of that really influenced the way I interact with people and the way I do evangelism. A lot of times, a lot of times when I'm out and I'm seeing people pass, I'll be like in my head, the apostle just watch these people pass. If what would the apostle do? As people are passing, the apostle just watch people pass and not say what to anybody. Just keep his face straight on wherever he's going. Well, even if wherever he's going to is very, very timely and very, very urgent, he would interact with a few people on the way.
And preach Jesus to them.
Always in church, except probably he's in the vehicle. But if he's going to have to walk through people, walk past people, he would definitely interact. So many times when I'm out like that, maybe when I step into school, my mind is not set with knowing that this is what apostle will do. You have to do the same. I know that there was a time when apostle told us how he preached in Futa Shuttle back to back during his days as an undergraduate. What that did to me was there were times when I would also enter the shuttle, and or it is not even when I enter the shuttle. On my way to the shuttle, the thought is already in my head. You cannot sit down. You have to go and sit down at the back row. You must sit at the back. You must preach. I remember one particular day I did not. I sat at the back, but I didn't open my mouth to preach because I was like, this is exam period now. I need to read to myself. And lo and behold, that guy was one that preached to. That thing. That I remember that experience. I was like, got to me. I could have been the one preaching, but somebody else preached. And maybe another reason why it got to me was probably what the person was saying. I was like, I had something better I could have shared. Yeah. So um, that's one. Another aspect that is very, very important I must not leave out is the fact that the apostle is very passionate about raising people. He's passionate about discipling people, passionate about raising ministers for the gospel. And that has influenced, I can say that has influenced my vision for life and family. Has influenced my vision for life and family. How that one of the things I know my family will be about is raising disciples. Is raising disciples. My sons and daughters, I raise them in ministry. I raise them in ministry before any other thing. Primarily, I see myself raising them primarily
For the work of ministry.
for the work of ministry. That they are sound, they see doing ministry as a life calling. That's what life is all about. That's what life is all about. Then I'll go beyond just them. I'll go beyond just them. Hopefully I can have an house where I'm hosting as many people as possible and raising them in that capacity too. So yes, that's how that's the influence that has had on me.
So now you are a more conscious and more better evangelist because
Yeah.
of Apostle's teachings and particularly because of his examples. And you mentioned Apostle is very, very particular about doing the things of the Spirit and healings. Let me ask you this. Give me examples of times that you have been healed in Apostle's ministry. Give me testimonies of your healings, your miracles, and maybe even your breakthroughs, your miraculous breakthroughs that you've had via Apostle's ministry and via TOCC.
Okay, so one notable miracle and healing was a particular Sunday I came to church and I had a stomach upset in service. It was so disturbing like that. I went out and I was rolling on the floor inside. So I went out into where used to be Apostle's office and I was rolling on the floor. And when Apostle noticed I was not in the hall, he asked them to come and call me. They brought me into the hall and they prayed for me and it stopped. They prayed for me and it stopped. That's as far as healing is concerned. That's the only one I can remember. I hardly, I hardly fall sick. Or when I fall sick, it is malaria. But once I start sensing malaria, I don't waste time. I buy drugs. But I don't like I said, I don't have time to be falling sick. So once I start sensing the symptom of malaria, I will quickly get drugs. The only time when I will not get drugs is I don't have money. I know that, but eventually I will still. So I would. The reason why that's the only one I can reference to is because there's really no, there have been no room for, there have been no room for one outside malaria and occasional stomach ache that maybe comes once in few years. After that kind of stomach ache, I've never experienced that again. So mostly malaria and catarrh. Those are the only things that disturb me. Those just two. So yeah. Breakthroughs.
I'm quite before you touch on your breakthroughs. I'm quite aware you are a gym bro. You go to the gym a lot. So have you maybe incurred any injury before? Broken arm, maybe broken bone, some extra fatigue pains that have been healed. Any of such occurrences?
So I think there was last year. Last year, I was running. I was doing long distance run, and uh, it puts a lot of stress on my body. Put a lot of stress on my body. Not injury. Oh yes, a few. Yeah, it's not injury actually. It was not injury. It was just that this is something that I'm just introducing my body to. So it will be sometimes I cannot walk well because I'm limping. So I'll come out the healing line. I'll come out to the healing line because of I'll come out to the healing line for it. Why? The reason I'm coming out to the healing line for it because I know that it is I just need rest. It needs rest and time to heal and for the body to get accustomed to it. Well, the reason I come out to the healing line, I need that thing to happen faster. I need the
And so
I need
you
the
needed your body to heal faster
I need the body
from
to
the
heal
stress,
faster for
and
me
you
to-
joined the healing
so I
line.
can go back.
And then
to
Apostle
my-
prayed for you.
Yeah,
and then,
Apostle will pray for me.
and then
Then
it's
I'll go back. I'll go back to my run the next day or
then you get the
the
healing
next-
faster.
the next 2 days. Yes. Yeah. But outside that, any other before that run, all the times when I go to the gym, I never experience
Never
injuries.
experienced.
Anything I experience is stress in the muscle, and then I was not under duress I was not putting my body under duress to heal fast. There's a reason why I was for the run. I was trying to I wanted my body to heal fast because I was after a goal and all that. So yes, breakthrough.
Some of your breakthroughs.
Concerning breakthrough, what I would say is what I would say concerning breakthrough is the fact that my relationship with Apostle, the teachings, the messages we are hearing, there's one particular series Apostle did on all things richly. All of all those things will be influencing my mindset so I can make better decisions. Influencing my mindset to make better decisions, and those better decisions were opening more opportunities for me. So I can credit several of my sources now to the fact that I was being taught, I was learning. If I wasn't learning, if I was not being taught, I might not be in a position, I might not be in the position, I might not be the person that's able to get some of the opportunities I've been able to get and that I
Alright.
will get.
I have a few more questions for you in about 10 minutes. So let's run these ones very, very fast. This question is one that I personally don't like, and this is why I don't like it. The question I want to ask you is that what do you love about TOCC? Personally, there's nothing not to love about TOCC. But I want to ask you, what are the things that you love about TOCC?
Okay, so now immediately ask me that question, I look towards the direction of our core values. Because yeah, like you said, there's nothing not to love, right? There's nothing not to love. So one of the few things that resonates with me strongly is the fact that in a place like TOCC, we 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 are blessed with a ministry. We are blessed with a ministry gift that allows us to access, allows us to interact, is welcoming. He takes our questions, he answers our questions. He has one-on-one relationship with a lot of people in CCC. A lot of people in CCC. There was a time when every morning I used to send Apostle questions before he wakes up. I have the Bible questions I drop in the DM before he wakes up, and we talk about it. He answers. So that's something I'm really, really grateful for. That access that helped me learn, that access that helped me helped me grow. And because of that, that thing has flowed into it has flowed into because of that, there is a love that has flowed from apostle to to
To
several
the
members.
membership
Yes,
of the church.
it's not the membership of the church. How that there is remember I mentioned something about how I would go to Apostle's house, eat, and I'll leave the dishes to do. And when Apostle addressed it, he addressed it with love and grace. And I see the same thing too with several members and how they relate to one another. Maybe because, and that will be because of the fact that there's a period of time when I was in a very close relationship with several other members at the same time that is where we were coming, we lived together, we ate together, we did a lot of things together, and when you are close with people like that, you see one another's flaws. But there was grace. Nobody, nobody pulled away from the, nobody pulled away from relating with another person because of their flaws. Nobody stopped interacting. Nobody disliked somebody else because they saw their flaws. No, everybody dealt with every other person with grace, understanding. Oh, this is this is their shortcoming, and this is how they can improve. And there was that grace, and there was that love. That's another thing I can point to. Another thing I can point to is um, also within what I just mentioned now, because of that close brotherly love, a lot of things that one would need for life and sustenance was supplied because of um, people that God placed in my life.
And it reminds me of this portion of the book of Acts where the Bible says, all they that had, they sold their things and brought to the apostles' feet, and then they were all of one mind. And because they were so generous, there were none that lacked in the early church.
Sure.
That kind of experience.
Sure.
It's beautiful to watch. The Bible says how beautiful it is for brethren to gather together in unity. It's something I've seen in church, that love from apostle flow to the membership and to everybody. TOCC it's a home of love.
Sure, it is.
That is my testimony too.
Yes.
And yeah, so I have two more questions for you. Number one, how do you see yourself in the TOCC vision, and what can you say to people out there who are not TOCC members? What message do you have for them?
So how do I see myself in TOCC vision? Many times when I imagine TOCC several years from now, maybe 10, 20 years from now, I imagine myself in a capacity where I'm leading projects in the aspect of media. Uh, we are creating movies, we are creating short films, we are creating documentaries that are teaching the message of Jesus Christ, teaching, revealing Jesus Christ to the lives of people, to the minds of people, addressing several matters that concern the heart of people, bringing the light of the gospel to all those matters. Then I personally, many times many times I'm walking and I'm walking, and I'm not pleased, I'm not happy, I'm dissatisfied. Sometimes some people might see it, I don't think people really see it. But and why is that? That's because I'm just so concerned about, we need to our our social media space needs to grow. Our social media presence needs to grow very, very strongly. And it burdens my heart a lot. It burdens my heart a lot. Our the quality of our media team, all those things burdens my heart a lot. So I see myself in that. I see myself strongly in that role. I see myself strongly in that role, in the aspect of our media, in the aspect of our socials, bringing all the wisdom I can bring into ensuring that everything that has to do with our social media presence, everything that has to do with our media quality as a house is excellent, is growing, is flourishing, is blossoming. That we go into whatever it is a media team can go into. So yes. Then also in the aspect of one other burden that I know that I cannot, it's always in my head every day, is bringing people to church, adding souls to the church, adding souls to the church. If I have not done that in a week, I know I cannot be happy with myself. I cannot be satisfied or pleased with myself. So yes, let me leave that those two.
Then what message do you have for people who
Yeah.
are outside?
One message I have for people who are outside that I usually say is this: CSS is a place where the assignment that God has given to us, the assignment that Christ gave the disciples, go ye into all the nations, teaching all men, make disciples of all nations. That is, we call that the Great Commission. That's the mandate that Christ has given, that He gave to the apostles, that we are also a partaker of. The best place you can find yourself as a Christian is a place that is minded on the Great Commission, and it's all about seeing that Jesus Christ is known. It's all about preaching Jesus to everybody, and they are minded on that assignment. When you find yourself in a place like that, you are you are blessed. You are blessed because the purpose for why we're saved is to get others saved. And if you're not doing that as a Christian, then what's your relevance on it? Yeah, there's no relevance of being to the body of Christ. What's going to be with the Lord? But if you are going to do that, if you are going to do that, there is no better place to do that than in a place that is already minded on this thing. Why? Because such a place will push you, it will train you, it will give you all you need to do that assignment effectively. So you have a system that is going to push you into you fulfilling the purpose that God will have you do. And what better place than a place that is minded on this, and what better place than TOCC? So if you're out there, we are seeing this video, join TOCC. You are when you join TOCC, you are sure that you will find yourself in a system where that you get to fulfill the purpose that God has called you for excellently. You will not even be given the room to settle. You will not be given the room to settle. You cannot just but do excellently in a place like TOCC. So yes, I would say everybody should join TOCC. Thank you.
That is a whole lot. So, Brother Toluwani, it's nice to have you.
Thank you very
Happy
much.
anniversary once again.
Yes, happy anniversary to us.